Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the open market. We've got a special event this afternoon. We've got Stevie Martin with us, who has been a long-term open marketeer and all-round good egg and character. He's here because last year there was a resounding success of a book called Brighton Knockers. There's another book out, and Stevie's here to introduce the book, have a little bit of a sing-song and do some readings. Please welcome Stevie Martin.
Hey!
Hey! Thank you very much, Mark. You better speak. Is the old microphone on, good and proper? Okie doke. Right, now there's not as many people here today as I might have wished for, but nevertheless, you at home can watch this indoors. Now let's just see, what shall we read? I don't know. Can't give too much away. Let's have a look. There's not too much, a bit of randomness here, but then life can be random. Random is nothing you like with these Brighton's Knockers. Here we go, look at this. Page 223, chapter 25, The Double Act. Now there sounds a good start for a kick-off, doesn't it? Right, Laurel and Hardy and Abbott and Costello versus the two Ronnies and Morgan and Wise. The double act, when executed properly, is one of the most powerful and rewarding combinations. Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis can thank their huge fame and fortune for this. When their paths crossed in Atlantic City, don't start giving me microphone trouble, I ain't got time for that. Atlantic City, and Jerry Lewis, under extreme pressure, took drastic steps, literally risking life and limb with Lucky Luciano breathing down his neck, no less. They went on to become the double act of the century, but as see, vanity always comes into it. Put your bloody glasses on. There we go, might be a bit smoother now.
Start again, Stevie.
No, I ain't gonna start again. Hold on. There we go. There, I can see properly now. They went on to become the double act of the century, but as per usual, it all ended in tears, with the same old faces showing up to cause the reasons for their inevitable demise. Money equals greed, success equals jealousy, or power equals control. But back to our headliners for now. Notice how the two leading combinations from both sides of the Atlantic present themselves. Both are similar physically, fatty and skinny versus big and small. Then we have straight sensible fellow with simpleton come idiot versus friendly stooge with funny man and piss taker. Yet by virtue of titles alone, the English guys are much more lovable and approachable, because they are presented as a team which we can be a part of, if we choose. Whereas the American counterparts are just two blokes working together to try and get a laugh. This representation was invaluable on the knocker, and once a couple of Brighton boys melded well together, well, there was no stopping them, and the world was their oyster. The top combinations once again can be up for a matter of debate, and someone's always going to have a different opinion. Anyway, the next few tales are examples of such recipes for success, without even knowing the ingredients before they even started. I've already indulged earlier in the book how Frankie and Barry the Buzz Bubble found fame and fortune together. Other occasions were just as funny, if not as profitable. They was once given a call by Bingo. It was a widow in Hurstmere Point, so not exactly an expedition. There was an old oil painting in the hallway, evidently, that if confirmed original, could well be worth in the region of 2 bags. A lot of ifs, buts and maybes, admittedly, but 8 miles out to Brighton, worth the morning of anyone's time. Off they go, with no mention of a strategy. The Buzz knocks the door, and the sweet little thing invites him in. Admiring the picture in question, she remarks that she has had a number of people inquire as to how much she would take for it, just over the past few months. Well, he says, my friend in the car outside would surely be able to advise of its true value. If you're interested, of course, it was entirely up to her. I'll invite him in then, she answered. Given the nod, Frankie enters the arena. Barely through the threshold, he takes a step backwards and compliments the lady of the house on the bright, shiny brass doorstep. Oh, thank you for noticing. People show small regard for the rigours of good housekeeping these days. When I lived up in Whitechapel, it was deemed shameful if the doorstep was not kept bright and shiny. Who knows, you might call at any given time. My sentiments exactly, came the reply. Now, this painting, admiring closely with both fists on hips. Do you mind if I take a closer look? Not waiting for a second for a reply, he reached up and removed the picture from its hook. At the same time, he placed his thumb in the furthermost right-hand corner of the canvas. Then, with no apparent pressure, pushed his thumb straight through it, creating an immediate hole of 3/4 of an inch. Oh, that is very inconvenient. He must be quite ancient. I can't believe I've done that. Now, what are we to do? Well, exclaimed the Buzz, whether it was worth anything in the first place, it's certainly not worth sod all now. Put it back where it was, you clumsy oaf. But I cannot damage this lady's property and not suffer retribution. I realise I have desecrated this piece of art, so surely we must offer her some kind of compensation. Don't you worry about that, pal. The thing no longer, if it ever did, has any value now that you've ruined it. Put the bloody thing back where it belongs. Then the Buzz snatched it from Frankie. Frankie stood back startled, then leant towards Barry and looked over his shoulder. The Buzz turned his head, looking back over his own shoulder naturally. This enabled Frankie to grab the painting back from him, then stepped back 3 paces and ordered Barry not to try that trick again. Now, Mabel, what sort of sum could I offer you so that you are satisfied that I've done you no wrong? Shall we say £50? Well, I don't really know. The most I've been offered was £40. But of course that was there before that damage was done, pointing at the hole. Listen to me now, shouted Barry in a most irritated tone. We cannot possibly waste this kind of bish-bosh on a ruined smudge that hasn't even seen by anyone who has a daddy what its reader is. You have to go to the glossary to check that one out. Mabel, not having a clue what had just been said, declared that she no longer wanted the painting in its present condition and how much might it cost to repair. Frankie insisted it was beyond repair, so she should take something for it, going into his pocket and taking out a £10 note. With that, the Buzz dived towards him like Gordon Banks and managed to disengage the note from his fingers without tearing it, exclaiming, "You know darn well that's my week's rent money and I want it back." He didn't even lose balance for a split second. It was like watching Rudolph Nureyev himself, the way he landed so lightly on his feet. He did, however, now have his back towards the pair of them. Frankie had instinctively stepped aside, so was in an advantageous position. If I were not raised to be the gentleman that I am, I would surely teach you a lesson you would never forget. However, with ladies present, you can think yourself lucky. Now, Mabel, please tell me honestly, how much it would cost to rectify this terrible situation? Barry was straight on the ball. I have already told you we do not have any money as such. We were merely stopping by to give a rough guide to that picture's value. You have single-handedly put that plan into disarray. We'll be lucky if she doesn't call the cozzers on us. Now, boys, interrupted Mabel. This has gone far enough. Take the bloody painting with you and don't bloody well come back. I do not usually use bad language, but you two have driven me to my wits' end. Come on, the pair of you, out with you. She shooed them both out the door, then gave them a fond wave as they walked down the garden path. They pretended to shove each other, then looked over their shoulders and waved goodbye. Out of sight, they started laughing. None of this performance had been rehearsed or spoken about. It just came naturally. The painting was not difficult to repair, as the top right-hand corner was part of the skyline, not unusual. That cost £35. They took a chance in the sale rooms, as Peter Tironi and Prince Albert Street could not be sure. He was certainly sure he made a mistake though, when Frankie and the Buzz split £22,000 after the auctioneer took his cut. Worth working on a Monday morning after all, they said. They chipped in £2 grand each for bingo for putting them in it, and still managed to have a nice Monday club afternoon drink in a few of the pubs and clubs. So I'll take a little break then. I think so.